Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Wayne Bradley Show. This is your host, Wayne Bradley. I want to thank everyone that's listening in. Happy New Year for everyone that's listening, and I want to thank you all for joining me this afternoon. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're heading into a new year, folks, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen this year in 2011. We have a new Congress starting this week, and it's going to, like I said, we're going to have a lot of things going on today. In fact, we have the RNC chairman debate, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. There's a lot of things that are going to be happening different here in 2011, hopefully, and we're going to be here to watch it and make sure things are going the way that they promised us, the people. So, again, I want to thank everyone that's listening in. The call-in number today is 347-996-3175. I really hope that we can get some people calling in today. I'd really like to hear from you because we're going to talk a lot about the changes and the things that we expect from our elected officials here in the coming years. With only 2 years left until the election, you can best believe there's going to be a lot of jockeying in place here to get ready for the presidential race in 2012, but also a lot of these congressmen who want to either keep their jobs or get some of these Republicans out. There's been a lot of talk right now that the Republicans who won a large shift in the majority in November are going to have to work that much harder to get stuff done because if people have buyer's remorse, that just means that they have more jobs to protect come 2012 than they can be on the offensive. So it's going to be an interesting year. I've really taken some time off. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I've taken some time away from the show to really kind of fall back and study more and pay attention to more of what's going on. I couldn't believe that in the last couple weeks of December how much was done to change the fabric of our country and to change the overall culture and the way things were done here. In a lame duck session, the president was able to get Don't Ask, Don't Tell repealed, which we can talk a little bit more about. They were able to shift control of the Internet to the FCC. They were able to continue along the Bush tax cuts that the president had said that he was going to cut. That was a big part of his presidential campaign, was getting rid of the Bush tax cuts. But somehow or another, he found it in his heart to go ahead and keep those going. I guess, again, the wheeling and dealing in D.C., a lot of things were done that surprised me because, to me, Republicans that were in power, they also went along with these deals. So, to me, it signaled that while they are getting the message that we're tired of the same thing in D.C., they just can't pull themselves away from making the deals and pulling off deals that have bad spending and pork involved. So it's going to be very interesting to see some of these Republicans who are, saying they want to stop spending and saying they want to get control of pork barrel spending, but only if it doesn't include their district. Some of the people, including John Thune, who I think is a great candidate and has proved to have been a good senator, he actually had some of that pork barrel spending in that tax break bill. So again, what it showed me is that these people in D.C. are still in cahoots, and I had to really fall back and do some soul searching on the direction I wanted to continue with this show. I think that it's important that the reason, again, I told you before I changed the name from Conservatives Cool Talk Radio just to the Wayne Bradley Show, because I felt like sometimes with just putting the name Conservative is cool, it gave the idea that I'm a biased, might be a biased listener, someone that's only going to give conservatives their fair airtime and also not be willing to call out some of these conservative leaders when they're not doing the right thing. And again, I think coming into it, being conservative and taking that very seriously, some of the things that some of these conservative leaders have done have been wrong too. And I think in the beginning, when I first began the show, I was more interested in kind of promoting the idea that there are young African-American conservatives out here, that we do have different views, that we don't all think alike. But I think at this point, in the way the political spectrum has gone, that we're past that now. I think that people understand, through the show that I've been doing for the last year, the message is out there. There are plenty of young black conservatives that are, throughout the country that are doing a great job of being active, getting involved in their communities. And now it's time to approach that in a way that, again, not only does it promote the idea of that, but we also have to put these ideas and put these pens to paper and get things done. A lot of the politicians, again, they'll say that they're for less spending and and things of that nature, as long as it doesn't include something that affects them. And I think as Americans, we probably all are guilty of that in one way or another, but we have to hold our elected leaders more accountable. And, again, we're not all politicians, so we can think a certain way and change our mind, and it only affects us. But when we're talking about elected officials, these people affect the lives of millions of people, and so we have to really hold their feet to the fire. I'm going to really enjoy watching Allen West do that, because he said that he's going to hold the feet to the fire, even his conservative brethren. Let John Boehner know that himself face to face. You've got to respect that kind of integrity, and also, again, that kind of honesty. Now, my hope is that they keep that integrity, they keep that the fire, and they remember the reason why they were elected, because that life in D.C. can become intoxicating, and I don't doubt that some of these people come in there with good intentions. Their vision gets blurred by all the money and all the perks and free, all the things that are wrong with D.C. right now. Those are the things that I think that really distract people from staying on point and staying on the mission that they came here to do, which was to do things on the behalf of the people, on behalf of the constituents that voted them in, and not just for big businesses and special interest groups on both sides of the aisle. While Republicans constantly bash Democrats for their allegiance to special interest groups, Republicans have done the exact same thing. It's just that maybe some of their people in their groups aren't as famous or aren't as vilified at times that now that unions and things of that nature have become. And only because the fact that unions have been so adept in negotiating, they've negotiated deals that most of these government municipalities just cannot afford any longer. They become the bad guy. But for a long time, no one had a problem with the way that these deals were created, the way the contracts were negotiated. So I think that what you're going to see in 2011, 2012 is you're going to see a little more of people calling out special interest groups and unions, because I know people think, I'm from Detroit, and when people think of when they think of unions and things of that nature, they think, the old school, the UAW, the auto workers. But that's no longer the union's bread and butter. It's become government, municipalities, government jobs, federal jobs, because, people feel like they can't never run out of money. They can just print up some more. And watching President Obama, you kind of understand where they get that idea from, because our president, when things get low, we just need to print more money. We need to raise the debt ceiling, do things that, again, in theory are just bad practice. Me or you, we cannot print money. And so when things get tight, we don't have the option of saying, let's print some money, let's do something like that. We have to, dig down the bootstraps. We have to tighten up the way we spend money. And I don't think it's an unfair thing to ask the government to do the exact same thing. So it's going to be very interesting watching how 2011 progresses. I'm going to give you some names of some people, and I want you to watch out for 2011, and I'm sure you've heard of most of their names. Some of you haven't. So, we're going to keep a good watch on Allen West. He's someone who's been on the show before, someone I consider somewhat of a hero, American hero, someone that's going to hold both sides of the fence accountable. He actually said he's going to join the Black Caucus, Congressional Black Caucus. That alone, I would love to be the fly on the wall to some of those meetings, because I know that Allen West does not believe in some of these liberal policies that have further hindered African Americans more than they've helped them. So it's going to be very interesting to see that. Justin Amish from Michigan, he is going to do a great job. I think he is going to set the blueprint, to be honest, for how young conservatives and young leaders, period, are going to learn how to operate in Congress. I anticipate that he'll be posting everything that he does on Facebook, all the different laws that he votes on, why he voted for him that way, giving you what we consider 100% transparency. I wish people luck on trying to find any other politician that's going to do that. So look out for Justin Amash, Allen West, Tim Scott. I figure I'm interested to see what he's going to do. I haven't heard a lot from him. I think he had a pretty easy election, so he didn't really have to do a lot of politicking and campaigning. So I'll be really interested to see what he does. Dr. Dan Benishek, also here from Michigan, a doctor. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he tackles working on this health care bill. And so watching what this new Congress is going to do is going to be interesting. You're going to have a lot of different battles between old and new. And I think that's going to be on both sides, in particular with Republicans, because you're going to have the people like Allen West that are going to come in and say, whoa, this is not what I came here for. You guys knew before I came in that I wasn't going to do some of the special interest groups and the spending. And I think, again, if any of those people let us down, the Tea Party people and the American people are going to be watching. And, because, again, we've heard all the bad stuff that Obama's done, so now the ball is going to be in the Republicans' court. And if the economy doesn't improve, if some of this blame will have to be shared with the Republicans. They've got the power right now in the House to create laws, so the only thing that President Obama can do is veto stuff. So it's going to be a very interesting 2011. I hope that we as the American people don't get caught in the middle of the chess match that they're going to be having, preparing for 2012 elections. Again, I want to see some things get done. It blew my mind that how much stuff got done in the last 2 to 3 weeks of that lame duck session. So many different bills were passed. And again, this is with Republican and Democrats signing on both. Things can get done. They prove that. So it's just a matter now of getting things done that actually will help America as a whole, restore confidence, and people wanting to open businesses and bringing businesses back into Michigan, into the country. We had a better than an improvement this year in Christmas sales. So it shows that people want to spend, want to do things, but they have to know, they have to be able to get past a certain economic climate and uncertainty. So I'd like to hear from people. If you're listening out there, give me a call, 347-996-3175. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you're expecting from Congress, what you would like to see done. What do you think they should tackle first? Do you think it should be the health care bill? Do you think it should be some of the reckless spending that's being proposed? I want to know. I want to hear from you. What would you like to see your elected officials tackle first? I know, talking to Allen West, their plans are to defund health care. I don't know if that's going to go through or not, but that's one of the first issues that I know that Allen West wants to tackle. So I'd like to hear from you. Give me a call, 347-996-3175, or click in with me in the chat room, and let's hear from you. Again, I want to thank everyone that's been listening to the show. We're going to be making more changes and updates. The new hours of the show moving forward, we're going to do it from 9 to 10 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And we're going to try to bring you some more special guests when we can. We focused a lot in 2010 on bringing guests, but as you can see, during election time, that's something else I learned. During election time, you get a lot of these politicians and candidates that are willing to talk, but once they win a primary or once they are comfortable where they're at, a lot of them don't want to talk anymore. They've done, feel like they've accomplished what they want to accomplish out there. So we have to be careful of that. I think those are one of the things that kind of disappointed me moving past the elections, was seeing that things are going to go back to normal if we as the people don't stay on it and don't become complacent, don't get too comfortable, don't think that because we got a certain amount of Republicans in the House that all our problems are over, because, that's just not the case. We've got to stay diligent and make sure that these people who we elected to do a certain job actually do it and actually stick to their word, because that going forward is where we're going to see the true mark of some of these politicians, is if they stuck to their word. Not necessarily we're going to agree with every one of their policies, whatever they have to say, but did they come in running on a platform saying this is what they were going to do, and did they do it? And those are the things I think that you have to base the politicians on and how successful they can be. So, moving forward, I'm going to be very interested in seeing how that goes. So let's keep an eye on our Congress, and we'll see how things go here. So the next thing I want to talk to you about, and we kind of, today was in the debate about that, we had the race for RNC chairman. There was a debate around 1 p.m. Eastern. The Daily Caller was hosting it, and it had all the different candidates, Ann Wagner, Michael Steele, Saul Anuzis, and Priebus, I believe his last name was, and Maria Nino. Reince Priebus was the other candidate. And again, I am personally a little conflicted on this position because, for one, I think that Michael Steele did a good job in a very tough time frame. I've made a couple postings about it, and some people seem to believe that it wasn't really Michael Steele that helped win these elections, that it had more to do with the Tea Parties, but I believe that definitely had a lot to do with it. But I believe that Michael Steele worked with some of the Tea Parties, he coordinated some of those efforts, and I think he's gotten I'm not going to say an unfair shake, but he's had a very rough, some very rough judgment and rough, standards to what he's being held by. When I look at what happened out here, he won the election. There were two black congressmen elected for the first time. We had a Latino senator elected. Now, again, a lot of the GOP will say they just happen to be African American, they just happen to be Latino, and we just happen to have a GOP chairman that was African American for the first time. So I understand that, and we don't look at race, but we have to be honest with ourselves and looking at the party. And if we want to expand the message, and if we want people to actually we want more voices and more opinions, we're going to have to open up those lines. And so for that, I think that Michael Steele has done a pretty decent job. Now, when I'm listening to the candidates, I think one of the bigger issues is fundraising. I think that he could have done a better job of that, because I've talked to different candidates throughout the country that just felt that the funds weren't there for them when they needed them. So obviously, if that's your main position, he could have done a better job of that. And I think that some of the candidates, we've had Saul Anuzis on the show a few times, and he's been on the show talking about his vision for why he could be RNC chairman. And I make this disclosure, sound like I make it on my Facebook page. He's someone I consider a friend, so if I do seem somewhat biased, I want you to understand that. But from knowing Saul and his hard work and seeing what he's done here in the state of Michigan, and also knowing his tech savviness and things of that nature, I think he would be a good fit for that position. But today's debate, really, I didn't see anyone that just jumped out at me and said, "Oh, this is the person," or "This person is not a good candidate." A lot of the things they agree on is just a matter of who can do it the best. Saul said he can get the trains to run in on time. I didn't really take any issue with that, but I noticed some people might even had a issue him making a statement like that, and I know what some people could infer by that, but I don't think that was what Michael Steele's saying. He's just saying he can make the machine run better. I'm willing to give him that one. So I'm going to go ahead and think that he's just trying to make things better for the party, and I think that through time, I think that we can do that. It's just a matter of finding the right candidates. And again, these candidates have to stick on what they, on their principles and beliefs, and we have to do a good job of amplifying that. And we have to do a good job of making sure that message is resonating with people. See, when you're dealing with just a conservative base, you're preaching to the choir. Those people believe what the values are. It's about reaching out to new people. And I hope and I believe that with the technology that Saul has, that he might be able to do that in a way. But I'll, again, also say that I think Michael Steele has been doing that already. So someone asked a question today, why can't these guys work together? I don't think that they can't work together. I think it's, it's obviously, you want to be clear on who the clear-cut leader is. And I think that all of the candidates made interesting reasons on why they can be the candidate, but usually when a chairman is in a position where there was a successful election, usually that guy gets his job back. And so I think it's interesting to, for me to listen to the criticisms of Michael Steele. Some of it had to do with the fact he wrote a book. Some of it having to do with the fact that he didn't, I don't have any problems with if it's all about the job skills, what he hasn't done. I don't have a problem with him writing a book. He had a historic position that he won in a time where, again, these were history-making things. I don't have a problem with someone writing a book. It's on his personal time. I mean, if he's not working, if he's working every day and he gets off work and wants to write a book, he has the right to do that. So I'm going to take my first caller here today. We're going to talk about it. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi. I was wondering, what do you think of Herman Cain's run for 2012? Presidential.
Herman Cain's run for 2012. Well, I haven't heard him officially say that he's going to run, but I think that he would be a strong candidate. I think through conservative crowds, he would be a great candidate. I'm not sure yet if he could resonate with young people and some of the mainstream the way that President Barack Obama does. And I think that's what people have to really pay attention to when we're looking for this candidate to go against Barack Obama. It can't just be someone that we love so much that's what resonates, because at the end of the day, this is a competition to win the election. And so I think that his chances are good. I would like to hear. I listened to Herman Cain, and I think that he has some great talking points. But I would like to hear his full platform before I would think that he would, before I would say he's going to be a great candidate. But he's a man of conviction, a man of principles. So I think that he would be a good candidate initially. I just would like to hear more from him and hear his ideas on actual solutions, because I think the conservative line is we're all smaller government, less taxes. Strong defense, pro-life. I mean, those are the talking points that I would consider most conservative candidates are going to have that position. I really want to hear about some solutions. I want to hear about touching on education issues, because I think that's where conservatives need to take a stronger lead that can resonate with people across the country, no matter what color you are, what social class you're in, is that we have to improve the educational system in America if we really want to be able to compete on a global level as far as, in the world. So to answer your question, I think Herman Cain could be a good candidate. I just think I want to hear more from his platform on what he wants to do if he's going to run for president. What do you think about Herman Cain?
I like him. I like the fact that he has business savvy. He's experienced. He makes common sense, and when you hear it, common sense. And like I said, the fact that he has the business experience is very invaluable these days. Right.
Well, I've got my prediction right now. The person I see as a front runner, the conservatives like, is Mike Pence. I've been calling it for a while now. I think that Mike Pence, from the conservative standpoint, is really going to be one of the guys that's going to cause some waves. Again, I don't know how well that's going to go against President Obama, but if he picks the right running mate, like someone like Allen West, or possibly just someone that can touch more people, I think that.
Right. See, Allen West is another one I would definitely love to see run, but he's not even
he needs
considering
more
it. No, I think he thinks he hasn't got any experience just yet underneath his belt,
My surprise pick, and I just don't know if he wants to get involved in politics anymore, is J.C. Watt. I I would like to see maybe him run with Pence as a running mate or something like that. I don't know if he is actually interested. He's doing so well in the private sector. I've had him on the show before, and he wouldn't give me any inclination right now that he's actually interested.
Yeah, Sean Hannity has tried to pin him on that too, and he won't commit to anything like that.
Right. So, I mean, that to me, those are two of the people we want to keep an eye on in 2012. Herman Cain, I think, again, there's going to be a lot of different conservative candidates that might initially step out there. But, again, common sense conservatism, that works for us.
Right.
I want to hear,
but I understand.
I want to hear platforms
I understand.
and what's going to make other people vote for him, because whoever the conservative candidate is going to get a good portion of that vote. It's all about swinging the independent voters now, and some of the people that are going to be dissatisfied with Obama, whether they be Democrats or independents. And that's going to be the challenge.
Right. Well, thank you for your thoughts. Thank you.
No problem. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm one of your Facebook friends. I'll let you know who I am. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right. You have a good evening. So we're going to get more into the debate about the 2012 elections. I personally, like I said, I've been calling for a while here. My personal prediction would be, and it would be a great ticket, would be Mike Pence and J.C. Watts. J.C. Watts, again, the problem with that would be is that he's even interested in coming and getting back into the D.C. life. So we'll see. We'll see. I think it's going to be interesting. I think that Mike Pence, from a conservative standpoint, he gives everyone from the conservatives what they're looking for. I just stress the fact that we're looking for someone that can not only win and make us feel good in the primary, but someone that actually has a chance of winning in the general election. And I think that's where we're going to have to. I know people don't want to hear that sometimes, but people need to realize that while conservatives are totally disgusted with President Obama, his job approval ratings are holding steady. He's polled against every conservative candidate, including Sarah Palin, Mike Huckabee. He's winning handily. Mitt Romney. So people need to understand that if they're going to pick a candidate, we need to find someone that's well-schooled on the issues, but also someone that's going to bring, some personality, some style to this position, because, again, simply running John McCain or someone of that status against President Obama will probably end up with similar results than you had in 2008. So that's it's going to be very interesting to watch. The other people that we're going to be looking at, I guess, in the presidential race, and they'll be announcing in the near future, is going to be Newt Gingrich, Sarah Palin, Tim Pawlenty, Mitt Romney, Mike Huckabee, Haley Barbour, the governor of Mississippi. And so we're going to have a lot of people. I've heard some comments from Haley Barbour. I met the man. Seems like a really nice gentleman. I don't know if we can afford to continually put the same kind of candidates in place and think that we're going to get any different result. We really need to find some inspiring candidates that have some background and a platform to win. I think there's a couple candidates out there that have the name recognition, might have some star power, might have people fired up and willing to work for them, but can they beat President Obama in an election is something totally different. So I'd like to hear from you. Who would you like to see run for president? 347-996-3175. You're here on the Wayne Bradley Show. If you get a chance, go to my website, conservativescool.com. We're going to be updating the website with some new polls. We've had a presidential poll on there for a while, but we're going to add some new names to that list. So give me a call, 347-996-3175. I want to hear from you, 347-996-3175. Oh, people, if you heard that noise in the background, I've got my new Droid phone. I'm going through BlackBerry withdrawal right now, trying to try something different. But I can't lie to you and say that I'm very close to going right back to my BlackBerry. Sometimes you just can't teach an old dog new tricks, and I think I'm kind of comfortable with it. So we'll see how that goes. So sorry if you heard that noise in the background. I'm not doing Droid commercials or anything like that. Just got this new phone. I'm trying to adjust to it. So please be patient with me. The call-in number is 347-996-3175. So again, let me kind of tell you what's been going on. I took a little time away from the show the last month or two. I did a show. I think I did a show a month, and I think after the election, I don't know about you, but I was burnt out. I saw a lot of candidates, a lot of the people that I really wanted to get in certain positions didn't get in. We had a lot of candidates, that again just appeared to me, and I think that's what frustrated me the most is that I consider myself a grassroots guy, and it just seems like big money won a lot of elections. Again as usual, big money won. Not necessarily the best candidates won in certain positions, but because they were willing and had the resources to outspend, they won. And that disappointed me. I was at the Victory Party here in Michigan, the GOP Victory Party, and even though I was happy with some of the candidates that won, I really wanted to see where are the changes going to be made, and I'm really hoping to see some of those changes. Hopefully I'll have Bob Shostak on the show soon. He's running for the GOP chairman position here in Michigan. I'd love to hear from him on his position and what he wants to do to improve the party here in Michigan. I think that as a young African-American conservative, I didn't get down about the current state of things. I just think that people are still kind of being lulled to sleep. I think it's people out here that actually are more comfortable now just because there's some more Republicans in office. And that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be a good thing. It just means that, instead of Democrats, you got Republicans in there. We need to make sure that we have constitutionally strong candidates that respect and adhere to the Constitution, and also listen to their constituents. Over the last couple of years, we've had a lot of people that just think that the government knows best, and I think a lot of those people pay for their jobs in November, and it's going to be our job to make sure that no one forgets that message going forward in these next 2 years. If you don't do what the people who voted you in want you to do, you could lose your job. It's just plain and simple. I think the American people had fell asleep for a while, fell asleep at the wheel, and President Obama, whether you like it or not, he did awaken a lot of people and get a lot more people to pay attention. I think that's been one of the good things about President Obama in general, is that without him, the Tea Party activists wouldn't be as active, and which, again, the Republican Party early on figured that was just going to be another off-brand of the Republican Party. And I think that they've kind of figured out now that the Tea Party is not for sale, their vote is not for sale. You might be able to get an individual that way, but overall, in concept, and what they're doing is they're looking for the best candidates. They're talking to people and getting to understand, what they're looking out, who they're looking out for. And again, that does nothing but benefit the people. That's educating voters, and I think that's a good thing. And I give some of that credit to President Obama, because I think people before were just window shopping when it came to their politicians. Label shopping is the best word. They see the R on the label, they vote for them. See the Democrat on the label, and people vote for them. And there's going to always be people like that, but I think in particular amongst conservatives, now you're going to have people that are going to really pay attention to the kind of candidates who are voting in, and it's going to be a very interesting year. Again, going back to that chairman race, I think it'll be interesting to see on the 15th how that pans out, and who's going to lead the national party in the direction that we're going in, and is it going to be better or is it going to be worse? I've told people from very early on that we could do a lot worse than what Michael Steele did. So don't take it for granted that just because you replaced the man that things are going to get better. I mean, he made some improvements, and I think that people need to respect that and at least understand what was done during his tenure. So going to have that's in 2 weeks. If you didn't see the debate today, go to the Daily Caller, and I'm sure you can find that that debate. It was live on there, and it's a very spirited debate. I knew early on when they said that Michael Steele was coming in fighting that it could be a very interesting debate, and for the most part, it was pretty tame and wasn't no name calling or insults. It was pretty vanilla as far as that, but. The differences I heard, again, Michael still has the experience of doing it on the national level. Saul Newses has the experience, obviously, in the Michigan chairman's position, and he has a technology advantage. I will say that, and if we're basing it off some of those things, I don't believe there's anybody in the RNC that has a technical advantage over Saul Newses. He is very well adapted to using Twitter, Facebook, all the electronic flyers and things of that nature to get his word out there. If you're a friend of Saul, you know everything Saul is doing, what he stands on, because he's always getting his message out there. And I think on that standpoint, you're going to be hard-pressed to find anybody that uses technology to their advantage more than Saul. And I think those are the kind of things that play to his advantage. So it'll be very interesting moving forward. But for all the people that are out there that are bad-mouthing Michael Steele, I think that we ought to, just pay attention to everything that goes on and realize that he didn't do as bad as a job as people are making it out to be. Okay, I just felt like you got to throw that out there, because sometimes I think people get a little unfair with their analysis, and they also just expect. Miracle working. And that's not the case here. It's more about, again, the coalitions and building and doing, thinking outside the box. Michael Steele brought that up, and I constantly say this, and I don't know if that's just something that African Americans spend more time on talking to others than about than others, but we have to get out of our comfort zone of the people that we want to speak with, because at the end of the day, it's not promoting growth. It seems that it's the same people, and that's a legitimate complaint from an outsider looking in. If they're looking at it, and it's all the same people that have always been there, just switching chairs and switching names and switching positions, then that's not effectively bringing in change. And we really do, if we want to be more inclusive to people, we're going to have to at least be more inclusive with our message. I know that there are people that say, no, we need to be more conservative. That's no problem. I don't have a problem with being more conservative and opening, and expanding the message of a conservative message, but it's the way you give it to people and who you're giving it to that's going to make a difference. It's just like giving someone some medicine. Sometimes people are sick, but they don't want to take the nasty medicine. Or people have to look at conservative, the conservative message as part of the medicine. And I know people don't want to look at it that way, but that's what you got to look at it as part of the medicine. And sometimes you just gotta give it to people in a way where they can accept it and deal with that, and it'd be good for them. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I think it's a two-man race right now between Michael Steele and Saul Newses, and I'm sure they'll have at least one more debate between now and then, so people will come form their own conclusions. But at the end of the day, it'll be up to those, I believe, 168 RNC chair people that get to vote on that. And so good luck on that race, and we'll keep following that. Got some other interesting things going on today. I thought it was interesting that people are saying that right now the Democrats are actually hunting on vulnerable Republicans right now because of the fact they're in power. And people have to really understand that that's what this is all about, some of the political games and the gamesmanship people are showing. So Republicans don't need to take this lightly. And while Democrats are planning an assault on the Republicans are planning an all-out assault on Obamacare. So, I mean, I don't want American people to get caught in the crossfire and us to be used as pawns. I do want to see things get done in D.C. It's just a matter of getting things done the right way. and I'm looking forward to see the challenges that provide. If you got any questions, if you want to answer, give me a call, 347-996-3175. Let me know what you expect. Should we be expecting change, or are we expecting more of the same? Will these new congressmen come in and just continue to, to live the D.C. lifestyle, look out for the lobbyists and the people that are there, or are they going to listen to the people that actually put them in office? Be very interesting to see. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. So we're going to start doing the show 9 to 10 a.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm going to try to go back to that format of Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And if it just depends on the demand and me talking to the viewers on what we want to do here. I mean, I do it for the viewers, and if every day seems like the right thing to do, I'll be doing it every day. But we're going to start off going back to Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 to 10 a.m. Hopefully I can help you get your day started. You people out on the West Coast, I can help wake you up from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. West Coast time. So if you're not following me on Twitter, follow me at WB Conservative. That's all you got to do is look up on Twitter, WB Conservative, or just go to the website, conservativeiscool.com. You'll be seeing soon the WayneBradleyShow.com popping up, and we'll have more stuff on there. I want to say a special hello to Kim Hop, who is a fellow Jesu alum. I see you're on the chat board, so hello. Hope you're enjoying the show. Give me a call, 347-996-3175. Love to hear from you. Football season is almost over here. The playoffs start next week. So I guess after another couple of weeks, I'll get back to spending more time with my family on the weekend. I'm sure they're excited. Playoffs starting next week. I got Brett Favre is finally done in the NFL. Looks like he's done. Was kind of surprised to see how he went out yesterday with no fanfare or anything here in Detroit. But he is, football season's done. This time I think he's actually going to be done this time. So it'll be interesting to see going into the playoffs. We got a lot of great games coming up this weekend. That's the other thing I'm going to do, folks, this year on the show is kind of not just talk strictly politics, because I know that sometimes that can get boring. And again, my frustration is we can talk about it till we're blue in the face. If we're not willing to get out there and challenge these people, call your local congressman, things are never going to change. And I think that was one of the things I learned is that everyone has a responsibility to be an agent for change in your community, whether it be state, local, or national politics. Everyone plays a part in that. Everyone can get more involved than where we're at right now to make a difference in your community and to make a difference in politics. I mean, it starts with the grassroots people, and it starts with us making a difference, whether it be, again, calling our elected leaders, sending out letters, sending out emails. We have to do the things to make us more prevalent and more noticeable in our own communities. Just sitting back being mad is not going to help in 2011, 2012. People that were mad in 2008, 2009, when President Obama got elected and blown back by his, so-called socialistic ways, should no longer be mad at this point. You should be figuring out a plan to move forward to find the kind of leader that you're going to be comfortable with and doing whatever you can to help that person to accomplish that goal. So, again, I tell people don't waste the energy on just being mad because that's not going to make the changes. It's going to take, being active, getting involved, finding out the people you need to talk to becoming, to actually be an agent for change. And again, I feel people's frustration. I talk to different people across the country in different scenarios, and people are struggling to get a job, struggling to, those are the issues that everyone cares about. And I challenge all of our leaders to not play games, to do what is necessary to make the environment better to bring in more jobs. You can't make people bring jobs here. You can't do that, but you can increase the likelihood of jobs either staying in this country or being brought back to this country because we're making this a better atmosphere to do business. It's old America and it's a new America. Old America was the economy and a lot of the middle class income was based off of manufacturing base that no longer exists here in this country. So what we have to do at this point is start educating these people, start educating them and educating their kids because those jobs don't exist. I'm from Detroit, and I heard all my life about how people will graduate on a Friday and will be working at GM on Monday and work there for the next 20, 30 years of their life. That atmosphere in Michigan does not exist. And the whole purpose of doing everything I do is to lead this country, this place, in a better place for my kids and grandkids. And I think that's gotten away from a lot of the politicians over the years, maybe because they're busy enriching themselves. I mean, the reality is most of these guys have become millionaires since they came to Congress and will be in better financial shape than most of us would be if they were to lose their job tomorrow or whatever they do. And that's the honest situation of it all. We have to look at all of our politicians and see who they're working for. Just because it's not the name of the union doesn't mean it's not a special interest group, and we have to do a better job of reaching out and making sure that our elected leaders are accountable for the good and the bad decisions that they make, because they will make some good ones, but they will also make some bad decisions. So thank you again for everyone that's listening. I'm just getting warmed back up again. I apologize for taking that time off the air. But I was really trying to do some soul searching. I'd actually, I'm a business person. I own a real estate company, and I recently just got licensed to sell insurance also. So that is the business that I've run. And over the last couple of years, it slowly drained down to nothing, where I thought that I was going to have to take a job at what I would consider a good company here in America, but I just am not ready. I love being self-employed and offering the freedom it does to do things like the show, to get more involved. But I can tell you, it's really tough out here to find a job, and things need to change in our culture. People, I saw that today that Dollar Discount is opening up like 67 stores across the country with maybe possibly another 5,000 jobs. And although I'm happy that they're opening and their business is thriving, Middle America that's not what we were based off of. We just have to educate better. Facebook was valued today at $50 billion. Understand that $50 billion with not one government subsidy involved. These guys use their own minds and creativity to create something that has a worth of over $50 billion. America is still the greatest place for invention and innovation. We just have to be willing to release the reins a little bit and let the people do what they do best. And I think that's what we can do as a country to move forward. So I want to thank everyone again that's been listening. If you ever want to shoot me an email, it's twitterfam@conservativescool.com. Send me any questions. Send me any suggestions what we can do to make the show better, any guests you would like to see. I'm working on some high-powered guests for this year, hopefully to bring Stephen A. Smith on. So I talked to him recently. I'd really like to bring him on. We can talk sports, politics, talk the full gamut. So I, again, appreciate it for coming on the show. If you got anything to say, give me a call, 347-996-3175. I'm really going to start placing more emphasis on people calling in because I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. I could talk for hours, I'm sure, but I like to hear what the people have to say. I like to know where they're at on certain scenarios. Are we seeing the same things? And, it's good to talk to other fellow patriots and conservatives just to know if we're all on the same page because believe it or not, folks, sometimes we're not all on the same page, and that's why it's good to communicate. And if we're not on the same page, even if we're not, we know at least where the other person stands. Doesn't mean it's the end of the world. We just know where that person stands on that issue. So I think it's a lot of great opportunities here in the state of Michigan. It just has to be, again, put in a great atmosphere for where business is going to want to come into Michigan to sell homes and do things like that. So moving forward in 2011, there's going to be changes, and I'm really looking forward to it. I want to say Happy New Year to everyone that's listening. I was hoping to get some more call-ins today, but, it's kind of in the middle of the day. That's why I've been trying to figure out the best time to get caller interaction because, again, I'm doing this for you. If no one calls in, if I don't talk to anybody, I'm just sitting here by myself, and no one wants that. We've had over 10,000, close to 10,000 listeners on this show, so I want to thank everyone that's taking the opportunity to listen to this show. And like I said, hopefully we can make this better going into 2011. I want to hear from you on what I can do to make the show better. Everything from topics to my speech patterns, whatever you think I can do to get better. Don't hesitate to send me an email or drop me a line on Twitter. You don't have to be ugly about it, but let me know. I'm all ears. This show has to progress. I have no radio background experience, so I put the show together myself. I do all the scheduling for guests, put all the questions, topics together. And, again, this is all a challenge to me because I'm learning as I go along to try to give you the best possible radio show I could. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that. Thank you to all my listeners that have listened over the last year. It's just been an unbelievably good journey. I feel remarkably blessed that so many people have actually taken the time out to listen to my show when you could be doing so many other things out here. And, again, I get frustrated. I don't want people to lose faith in what they're doing out here. If you're an activist and some of your candidates didn't win, you will get another opportunity, and you should definitely be thankful for for what blessings you do have. But the Lord will bless you if that is indeed in His will to do that. And again, I want to thank. In 2010, there was a couple people I wanted to, if they're listening in, I wanted to thank for coming on the show and being very supportive. Kendall, if you listen, I want to thank you. David Valencia, Carol Goss, Saul Newsis, the RNC chairman. Again, he's been very, very supportive of coming on my show and giving me time. I think that speaks well for the kind of RNC chairman he can be, that he takes the time out to speak with grassroots and the so-called little people to give his vibe and give his stance where he stands on issues. So I want to thank Saul for coming on the show in 2010. I'm hoping to get him back on before the election, but if not, again, he's already come on and talked his platform. I've tried for a while to bring chairman still on the show and just haven't been able to get it together scheduling-wise. So he's done a good job this year, and I think that's most important. So if you got any questions, if you want to ask me about any of these other predictions coming up, feel free to give me a call. I've got about 10 minutes more on the air today. Like I said, we're going to start ramping back these efforts, this week. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. That is, those are the times that I will be operating the show, so 9 to 10. If you have any concerns about that, let me know. But that is the way that we plan on running the show time, so you can always listen to the shows later on in the day or something like that. But I want to get up early and get this show to the people, give them something they can listen to during the day, something to think about, and get people on the right track. So, again, thank you for everyone that's been listening today. You can listen to all my older interviews, and I've got some great interviews in my archives on conservativescool.com. I'm talking my Alan West interview, Michelle Bachmann, Bill Schuette, who is the Attorney General now here in Michigan, Dan Benishak, Congressman out of Michigan, David Valencia, the President of the Michigan Republican Hispanic Association, J.C. Watts, Mike Bishop. The interviews go on. It was just a great year, and again, I hope to be able to bring more of the guests, but I do notice a difference in once you're being interviewed, when it's something they want to interview on, you'll probably get the interview. But if it's something, a fluff piece, or something where they feel like you just, it's not going to be reaching the masses, they give you the runaround. So hopefully we can project the message to get them on the show and move forward. But I want to thank everyone. Again, even if it's only one or two people listening here right now, who knows, I I want to thank everyone that was listening on the show because it makes a big difference in terms of how I can market the show and potentially talk to other people about investing in the show because I really think that to really amplify my voice and to help be more of an effective tool, I need to get on the AM radio show. So I'll be trying to raise funds and, of course, work through my business to provide these kind of things for me. And I appreciate anybody that does want to help, and feel free to do so at conservativecool.com. But I feel like the best thing for me to do right now is to try to run my own, run the operation and try to just make things better. So thanks again for listening in today on the Wayne Bradley Show. This is your host, Wayne Bradley. I want to tell you, if you get a chance, go to the website, conservativescool.com. You'll find a lot of interesting stuff on there, a lot of cool polls, pictures from different events. It's a cool website, so give it a check out. Again, it's conservativescool.com, and you can also listen to our show live on there and see exactly what's going on, movies and all kinds of updates. So thanks again. Have a blessed evening, folks. This is Wayne Bradley signing off on the Wayne Bradley Show. Hope to have more callers in on Wednesday, but we're going to start setting this up to you guys and start sending them out to everybody Wednesday morning from 9 to 10. Thank you, good night, and God bless.